Hi everybody, welcome back. In this video I'm going to explain and show the Roman numeral system that we use for indicating chords in most music commonly. And if you're not familiar with that system, this will just give you a little primer and explanation that should help you get started using that system. Now this system is it's used in classical music theory. It's more common in jazz, like lead sheets. It's very common in the vernacular when people talk to each other about the 1 chord, the 4 chord, the 5 chord. You've noticed a lot of our assignments in the ukulele course use these terms like 1 5 7, 1 4 5, 1 6 2 5, and you might be thinking, what is this? I've never heard of this before. So if that's you, this video is for you. Keep watching. I'm going to explain it right now. So let's start with a major key. And let's just assume the key is a major key. Let's say it's C major. And we know that the root, or do, so I'm actually going to start by indicating things that you're used to, or you're probably used to. In fact, let's just, let's just use solfege lettering up here, so that might help you. And then let's say we'll talk about our root, right, is our first chord in the key, in the scale. So this is the scale, right? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do's over here. And so our first chord is the 1. And we're going to indicate that actually with a Roman numeral, a capital. So we're using, these are the Roman numerals. This is the Roman numeral line. And we're going to start with a 1, Y. I'm going to tell you in a second. Number 2, of course, re is the 2 chord. Mi is the 3 chord. Fa. And so on. Sometimes we use the top and bottom line, sometimes we don't. La is 6 and Ti is 7. Now, why are some capital or uppercase? Why are some lowercase? That has to do with the tonality of the chord. If it's a major chord, it gets capitalized. If it's a minor chord, sometimes we use a big capital M, small case, lowercase m, then it's lowercase, right? So pretty simple. In the C major key and scale, we end up with 3 major chords, which of course are the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. That's our very major sound, pure majors, all majors, or 1-5 songs, also major, major. And then we end up with 3 minor chords, the 2, the 3, and the 6. We end up with 1 diminished chord, and that is our 7. So let's look at that a little bit more. The notes of the 1 chord, of course, in C major are C, E, G. 2 chord, D, F, A, minor chord. 3 chord, E, G, B, minor chord. F, F, A, C, major chord. G, right, our 5 chord. G, B, D, and then we have A, C, E on our 6, which is minor. And then the diminished chord, if we're sticking with the white keys, is B, D, F, which is a diminished, it's got a flat 5, right? If you raise that F to an F sharp, then you would have a minor chord, but it's diminished in the C major format. So these are, this is the system right here. If it's a minor key, like A minor, right, we can write the Roman numerals according to that, according to their major or minorness or diminishedness. So A minor, we've got a minor 1 chord, right? Obviously, the key is A minor. The first chord is A minor. The 2 chord is, guess what? Same as this. So the 2 is diminished because that's a B diminished chord. The 3 is actually our C major chord. So 3 in a minor key is major. The 4 chord in A minor is D minor. So we're going up to a minor 4. And then we have F see, A, B, C, D, sorry, E, getting ahead of myself. E is the 5 chord, and that is also minor, right? E minor. And then we have F as a major 6, and we have G as a major 7. So in a minor key, and you don't use this so much. You can play in a minor key, and sometimes people actually write it using the major, numerals. Like in the case of, you can do that in the case of the Andalusian Cadence, for example. But let's go back to the minor for a second. Notice that you've still got 3 minor chords and 3 major chords and 1 diminished chord. Same as this, but they're just different. They're almost opposites, right? Almost. So that's that system. The one exception up here, and you can write the Andalusian cadence in different ways, but remember the Andalusian cadence is a descending minor starting on the, I would say on the 6th chord. You could write it this way. You could write 6, A minor, right? A minor chord. And then you're descending, so it's A minor, G major, F major, and then our 3 is major. So the Andalusian cadence, you could write, I'll just write it down here. You could write 6, right, minor, 5 major, 4 major, and then 3, 7 major. And that's A minor, G, F, E, 7. Now, why are we using these Roman numerals and why are we doing uppercase and lowercase? What good is that? Isn't that just more confusing? Couldn't you just write numbers or just write the chords? One of the benefits of using the Roman numeral system is once you learn, let's say, a chord progression, like 1, 4, 5, right? And you think 1, 4, 5, and you can envision the scale, and you have that orientation of 1, 4, 5, and you know that 1, 4, 5 are all major chords in a major key. It becomes a lot easier to simply jump to another key and play 1, 4, 5, let's say in the key of G. For example, we know that G is the 1 chord, C is the 4 chord, D major is the 5 chord. So when you get to wanting to play a song, for example, and that song is based on a certain chord progression, and many of the songs we're studying are based on chord progressions, then it opens up and makes it easier to transpose and to shift into another key because you were using a Roman numeral system and you can visualize, the lowercase and the uppercase, and it just gives you a head start. If you only learn the chords in one key and then you go to another key, it's really like starting over from scratch. So especially because jazz musicians will transpose a lot, let's say for playing with different singers, they'll say, okay, well, let's do this song. And in their head, the song is represented in Roman numeral chords. That's how they learn it. That's how they're probably thinking of it. And then when the singer says, oh, I love that song, I'd like you to play it in B for me, or I'd like you to play that in E flat, then it's a lot easier to shift everything over and play in that key without having to learn the whole song like in that key. And it's just how people talk about songs. If you look at chord progressions, you'll see they're virtually all represented in terms of the Roman numeral system. So you want to familiarize yourself with the system, if for no other reason, so you can just understand chord charts, converse with other musicians, in this case maybe teach your students, talk about this system. I wish I had some exposure to this system before I got to high school and started playing in jazz band. I think it's useful. Why not start early? No problem. You can learn a song with the chords C, F, G, but why not also add the layer of, by the way, this is 1, 4, 5, so that, throughout somebody's musical career, they also have that frame of reference, all right? I hope this is helpful. Good luck in your exploration. Go out and do a little research now, maybe look at some charts, and you'll be able to figure those out and have a new appreciation for whatever's going on there with all those Roman numerals. All right, thanks.